I purchased this property with my wife Maria in 2006. Our plan was to spend the rest of our lives in it, so I designed the house with that in mind. Above all, I wanted Maria to love it, and I wanted to satisfy my own taste. And so it came time to, downsize and have a property that's less demanding.
Paul was so nervous, and he thought his home was so quirky, and I walked in and it was just amazing to me. He had nothing to be nervous about. The traditional home is going to the wayside, and this was just such a breath of fresh air I knew would do well in the marketplace and go to lovely people.
I grew up in mid-century Scandinavia, loving leading-edge modernism, the Bauhaus ideas, minimalism. Maria, on the other hand, grew up appreciating everything practical, informal, and modest. So the house, which we named Treehouse Lodge, had to reconcile the opposites of formal and informal, as well as ambition and modesty. My ideal of a property at that time was a vast swath of wilderness in Central California, but Maria's ideal of a property was a cute little Victorian cottage in downtown Los Gatos. This property seemed like a perfect compromise to us. It is essentially a small wilderness property, although it's located with only a few minutes drive from downtown Los Gatos.
It's very calm. It's very connected to nature. You are so close to the hustle and bustle, yet so removed when you get here. And the key for this home was staging it without detracting from its architecture, but showing off its architecture.
The house looks like I sliced off big chunks playfully from other houses and put the pieces together in a slightly whimsical way. So from every angle, there's supposed to be something interesting happening. People ask me about this space. What is this about? This balcony inside. Well, it's the part of the inside-outside idea. There's just a balcony pointing inward rather than outward. I like contrast, and I like geometry, I like lines, I like things to stand out. And this house has an enormous amount of light because it's got windows, in every direction. Sometimes you just want this to be a safe, sort of cocoon space. The shojis do that really nicely. But they have this geometrical aspect too. They're very sort of architectural, which I like. But then if you want the wild, then you just open the shojis like this and you get the full scenery. And we open the door and we go outside and we have animals, plants. The teak flooring is really going back to our childhood, to Finland. It's a sauna culture. Every Saturday, every family has a sauna. And in the saunas and the rooms, the shower rooms, so forth, there's wood on the floor. And of course, nowadays, having teak mats in bathrooms is kind of the normal, but it was sort of a hint into our childhood. And as you can see, we have cold elements like ceramic tiles, straight lines, wavy lines, and we also have wood, which wood is a warmer element. And if you look at the house, it's not about perfection. A lot of things in this house are absolutely imperfect by design. Imperfection and incompatibility is sort of like a design idea here, First of all, I like gaps. You find them all over the house, by the way. Inside and outside, you find these gaps. I like them because they make geometries very clean. And I also had this idea that the house could be painted in a really wild way, And you can do that with gaps like this. So you paint this some red color and this something else, for example. It makes it possible, whereas if it was a continuous surface, it's not so easy to make a nice sort of what's called a bricolage effect, like things are made from different parts. This is sort of like a Lego house, I like to be challenged. And the architecture of a house and all its aesthetic qualities and practical and impractical qualities, they're challenging. When this house was originally built in the 1970s, the owner wanted to build a pole house. So there's 12 telephone poles, and the house was built in such a way that it hangs on these poles. Okay. And when we got the house in 2006, unfortunately, it didn't hang very well, and it was almost like sliding down the hill. Okay. And so we had to completely redo the foundation. But the good news was we have these, we kept these, and I was able to build a very, very open floor plan thanks to these poles. What's my next project? Retirement. Try not to take life so seriously. Try to be contented rather than disturbed. This project was very disturbing, but I loved to be disturbed at the time. Now I don't love to be disturbed so much.